You want to start it?
Do you want me to?
Sure.
All right. Welcome back, Eric. Don't do that. Okay.
Don't do what?
You were going to say don't do that.
No, I was going to try to say where that came from.
Oh, all right. Well, welcome back to Dress Down Day, ladies, gentlemen,
Of the jury.
people of the world. I'm Leanna Casales, and here's
Not for long. Are you going to change your last name?
What a loser. No, definitely not. No. I'll be a Casales forever. Thank you.
Well, all right. Well, I guess we're going to call off the wedding. That's not a big deal. I mean, it saves me a lot
it's
of
like,
money.
is it a deal breaker for you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just need you to be, I want you to know that you're my property. And I want to tell people, this is my property. What's her name? And then I'll ask you your name and everyone will laugh. But you'll be the only one who doesn't laugh and hates the joke. And then we get home, you'll be like, I don't like you doing that joke anymore.
Let's get divorced.
I do understand the women not wanting to lose their name.
Yeah.
It's all just guys' names, though. Because, like...
What do you mean it's all just guys' names?
If you keep your name, it's just your dad's name.
Yeah.
It's just someone else's name. I don't know. It's fairy dust.
I wonder how people feel, what their reasoning behind maybe keeping their name is. I see it as, it's almost like this part of me is dying in a way.
Part of me.
You know,
Killed
Leanna Casales is dying. She's now becoming Leanna D'Alessandro.
Yep.
Even though I'll be the same person.
No, you'll be dead.
I don't know. It's just, I mean, that's how I feel. I don't know. It's hard to let go of something that you've had your whole life.
Wait, really?
For sure.
I was just fucking around. You're having trepidation? You're trepidatious?
No, I'm definitely going to change my last name.
You don't have to.
No, I want to. I want to have the same last name as you because I love you. And then once we have kids, I would want to have the same last name as my kids. That would be weird if my kids were D'Alessandros and I wasn't.
I get that. I mean, I don't know. I never actually thought about this.
Yeah, when we first got engaged, I don't know why, I was like talking to my brother and I thought about it and I was like I'm not going to be Casales anymore. They're Castaleses and I won't be. And it was like we were Castaleses and now I'm not. I don't know. There's something sad about it.
It is. I remember for my sister. We've always liked our last name, despite all of the horrific people not being able to pronounce it or spell it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
That is interesting.
Isn't your name like everything?
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of strange. I never thought about that when I was a kid. My mom would sign my tests and I just thought that was her name. I'm like, man, this wasn't always your name.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is kind of weird. But I don't know. There is something very unifying about having one name as a family.
Which is why I'll do it. Because I want us to be one.
Did you want me to change my name to Castales?
I mean, if you wanted to, sure, why not?
Nah, I'm okay.
What a loser.
What a loser. What's going on? We got Thanksgiving this week. Are you a Thanksgiving? I've never really... Now, another thing, did you hear that?
It turns into like a ASMR.
We have we spent Thanksgiving together the last couple of years? I don't even remember. Because we were still going...
Me and you?
Yeah. Did we stay home? Were we
Sweetheart, we've spent Thanksgiving just me and you the past few years.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
We haven't been home for Thanksgiving in years.
I don't really give a shit about Thanksgiving.
Me either, which is why we were just like, we'll just stay in California. There's no need to go home for a turkey that I'm not even going to eat.
You don't like turkey?
I don't do turkey. No, thank you.
I don't really like Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, I don't either. I love the sides, but I could do without the sides for the rest of my life and I'd be totally fine.
Do you like stuffing?
I do like stuffing.
I don't think I've ever had stuffing.
I like hard stuffing, not soft.
Oh, tell me about it, sugar. I'll give you a nice hot stuffing.
You're disgusting. Stop.
Sorry. A lot of people go crazy for Thanksgiving food. And again, it's like everything else in my life. I'm jealous and that I'm missing out because I don't give a fuck about any of it. I'd rather get Planet Wings any day of the week.
That would be a fun Thanksgiving.
And the whole family party, overrated in my opinion. Like, okay, when we go home, I like our setup now because my family has now branched off into their own corporation where my mother is grandma.
Yes.
So she's the matriarch and it's now under her umbrella. Whereas growing up, there was just 1,000 people and I'd go to my aunt's house and I would just sit on the couch and just be like, oh man, this is fucking boring. And I had my cousin who was like my best friend growing up. Thank God we're the same age. So I loved hanging out with him. But like if I had to go on my dad's side, here's something that's interesting. Why is your dad's side always suck? Is that the same with? It's definitely the same for you. I've never even met Leanna's dad's side, folks.
No. Well, my parents are divorced, as many of you know. We've talked about it. And my dad has a very small family. My dad's one of 3, but one of his sisters has 1 child, and then the other one was never married. So very small family. His mom is in Florida. His dad dead. So he always had a small family, and because my parents divorced, we always just did things with my mom. So I can't say that going to my dad's like sucked because I never really spent holidays with them.
But I've noticed that that's a common thing.
A lot of people would probably agree. You do what the mother does. You're usually more close to your mom's family. I would think. I don't know. People I know, they're all closer to their mom's side for sure.
Not looking good for me because I'd be the dad.
Yes.
Not looking good. So the reason I think it happens is number one, men do nothing. They just sit there like, I don't care. What are we doing? Yeah. And then they just go with the flow and they just sit down, right? So the women take control, especially on Staten Island and Italian families specifically. But like for me, Leanna said her dad is one of 3. Your mom's one of 4. My mom's one of 11.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever said that on the podcast before. My mom is one of 11 children.
Making it very difficult for the wedding planning.
Making it very difficult. Leanna's like, let's just have our aunts and uncles. I'm like, sure. I got 90 fucking people over here. So, speaking of names, my grandfather had 7 boys. They mostly all have girls or they're not married. He has one chance. One of my cousins, I think, is married.
To take on
or getting married
the name.
To live on the name. Anyway, so when I was younger, I would go to my mom's house, my mom's moms in Brooklyn, and they had, I haven't counted, but I think I have like 24 first cousins. I think I should have more, but a lot of them don't have children. But so I guess it was more fun. We'd play a lot. Like I said, my cousin Mike, a year younger than me, we were like best friends growing up. We're still very close. So that was more fun for me. And then my dad's side wasn't their fault, but they were all older than me. It was very adult. There was just like, we just sit around, cigarettes were involved. And like, it wasn't fun for me. There was no like playroom. It was just like very boring. And I've seen memes on like Twitter and shit that said similar things. It's always like your dad's side is always like,
interesting.
I don't know what it is about. I never really thought about it until right now. Like that's so universally true. I'm sure there's people listening that are going to be the opposite. Like when I made fun of that TikTok video of the dads on vacation mode.
Yeah.
My dad doesn't do any of that. My dad doesn't organize anything. He doesn't even know my dad didn't even know he was coming to Texas till a day before they came here. So I don't know, just very fascinating. Like your family could not be more one-sided. My family was pretty much the same way.
But I will say, so my mom is one of 4. She has 2 sisters and a brother. Her brother and those kids, so my cousins, they are always with us. And that's their dad's side.
Interesting.
They're always with their dad's side.
Interesting. Yeah.
Like for me, it's my mom's side, but for my cousins, who's my mom's brother, you know, it's their dad's side.
And what's sad is that like unless we have kids soon, our kids are gonna be. It's gonna be like going to my dad's house, my dad's side, because it's gonna be like all of our nieces and nephews are gonna be old.
Older.
I mean, they're still pretty young.
Unless my siblings start having kids when we do, then they'll have cousins their age.
And they'll prefer their mom's side. Is what I'm saying. I'm trying to get the upper hand somehow.
They'll prefer.
I
their
don't
mommy.
see how it's happening over here.
I think kids always prefer their mom.
They really do.
Sorry.
They really do. They really do. And don't get me wrong. There's some incredible dads out there who are holding it down. But the majority of the time, you just want your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, there are plenty of people who are probably closer to their dad than their mom. But I think if we took a poll, most people would say they're closer to their mom. I mean, the kids are coming out of, you know, they're coming out of me. They're sucking on me. So
are you all right? So, yeah, that's why like when we used to, I never like was sure about kids, especially when I was like in a darker time in my life. I would always just like not, the pressure of it made me uncomfortable. But like, even now when Leanna's like, come on, don't you want to have like a little mini you? I'm like, no, because it'll never love me as much or as he or she loves you. There's nothing I can do to get the same mommy love.
And but you have to understand where I'm coming from. I would be creating something that's going to be obsessed with me.
I know. And it sucks because like our niece is obsessed with our sister-in-law, and it's just like you could see it in nature, like follow mama duck, or whatever the fuck. And I'm jealous and angry about it because I want to mean something. Bill Cosby, before he was
a rapist,
a profound rapist, he had a great bit on stage where he said, "The dad, you work, my son, football son." And he works out with him and he hands him the ball. He shoves him down. He's like, let's try it again. Try it again. Dad, son, goes to college, gets him on the football team, cheering him on. The son wins the winning championship. He's like, hi, Mom.
I just like to thank my mom.
Yeah, so there's nothing you can do. How do I do this? What do I do to make our kids love me more? There's nothing I can do as a man. There's nothing we can do.
I don't know if you can make them love you more, but I do think you can make them love you just as much.
I don't know if that's possible.
If you're giving them just as much love and attention as I am.
Well, that's hard because women also feel the need. Most women feel the need to take control of the situation, and especially their child, that they feel a pressure to be in charge of and responsible for. Like my sister her baby is very chubby. She's the cutest fucking thing. I want to just squeeze her cheeks to death. But if I'm holding her for too long, my sister constantly is like, well, I'll take her. I'm like, Lisa, I fucking got her. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I think she feels guilty if I'm like bothered by if she's getting heavy or something.
Of course.
So women, I think, usually feel that way to like be more responsible for the baby.
Yes, definitely.
But like, I'm going to be so heartbroken when like our son or daughter's crying. I'm like, Mommy. I'm like, what the? Mommy? I'm fucking here too, all right? I'm what do you want?
No, like I said, I think here's the problem too. I don't know. I'm not a mom, and I'm not saying that I know how to be a mom. But also, I think by women doing that, I got it. I'll take care of it, versus letting the baby cry and going to daddy. That's why they're that way. Where if it's like, okay, this time she's crying, I'll take her. Next time she cries, you take her. And we split it up, and I don't feel like I can always control the situation, because then it's like, oh, well, I go to my mom and she makes me feel better, and I go to my dad and he makes me feel better.
Yeah, that's definitely like a more progressive thing, I would guess. I mean, I want it to be equal. I want it to be like I don't get me wrong. I'm making jokes, but like I used to be sad about that as a kid. Like, man, I know how I felt about my mom, and whenever you need something, you go to mom. Whenever you need help, whenever like dad was just like a guy that was there who knew about cars, which I was my dad is the perfect dad.
Yeah.
Like he really is. Like
Yeah.
in terms of like
teaching you like life skills.
Yeah.
And,
like I know how to change a tire. I know how to do all that shit because of my dad. So I had him for everything. And I obviously want to be that for our son or daughter, but I want to mean more because I am so like emotional and loving and stuff like that. But I don't know if there's even like a chance of that to be possible.
I think there is. I don't know. We'll try it out and maybe it'll work. But I think you giving them just as much love and attention as I would be giving them, I think that would change
we'll see. I think you're going to be more like
controlling.
Yeah.
Probably.
I do see that I do see that in your future. Speaking of like parents and parenting, which we have a lot to learn about because we're idiots and don't know anything yet. And everyone always says, wait till you have kids. It does change. And I respect that. But have you noticed? I actually noticed something. And then my friend Matt and he actually backed me up with science, which I was it made me even more uncomfortable. Because it was like, wow, this is not just me being crazy, Eric. There's actually validity to this. Have you noticed in the past 5 or 6 years, when everyone we know started having children, have you noticed there's a very large discrepancy between the sex of the children?
Yes.
There's a lot more girls.
A lot more girls.
There's a lot more girls. Yeah. Everyone that I know my age who has had a baby, like my guy friends growing up with, they all have girls. 100% of the guys that I'm talking about have girls. Your cousin has a girl. We have more nieces than we have nephews. And when I mentioned this to Matt, who I mentioned him a lot on the podcast, like one of my best friends. He's very gifted with like just researching, and like when Matt tells you something, he's done like hours of research on that. He literally went ingredient by ingredient in chemicals of his deodorant, shampoo, and he Googled what every chemical was to see what it meant and what to stay away from. He's very smart. Anyway, I was mentioning this to him, and he basically said they started to do studies on this, and throughout history, it's been roughly 50-50.
Okay.
It's usually a,
for every
boy or girl.
There's a girl, yeah.
Kind of. It would kind of even out. And for the first time in history, we're having way more girls. And this is not a like mistake. Not that it's not a mistake, but there are theories, nothing confirmed yet, but there are theories as to what is causing this.
And it makes sense.
What makes sense?
Like, their theories make sense. So
of course.
We're having more girls because probably this, whatever we're eating, that specific ingredient in our deodorant, whatever it is, right?
Yes. Now, quote me if I'm wrong. Do your own research. Please Google this. But from what I believe Matt and I spoke about, the reason why people are so into diet and like being against processed shit is because it's really bad for you. That's something we got to get into one day too.
Yeah.
Is that being into a healthy farm-to-table diet is something even I have made fun of. I've been like, oh, farm-to-table? Because the attitude is pretentious and those people are fucked. Like I said, the nugget is always good, but then they ruin it. But we should all strive for the best diet possible because it does. It helped. We should have talked about that with the mental health episode we talked about. But like fast food, all that shit. When I stopped having fast food, it made my anxiety plummet. I should have fucking mentioned that. Anyway, long story short, the things that we have so much shit in our diet and our products. Our bodies are not used to these chemicals, so they are basically reading them in our brains as estrogen. That's one of the theories. Let's say polycarbonate which is in whatever the fuck you're eating or your shampoo, your body doesn't know what that chemical is. So it's like men are getting an influx of estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's happening to men, but it's also happening to women. So we all start off as women, right?
I don't know if I knew that.
Before a sex is assigned in utero,
mm-hmm.
we are female. That's why men have nipples.
Okay.
So we start off as feminine.
Why? But why? How?
I'm a community college dropout. I do not know, but maybe you could Google it. But I know that that's a fact. That's why men have nipples, because in the womb, we start off developing to become women. And all humans, whether they have an XX, an XY, or an atypical sex chromosome combination, begin development from the same starting point. During early development, the gonads of the fetus remain undifferentiated. That is, all fetal genitalia are the same and are phenotypically, don't know what that means, female. I don't know what pheno or phenotypically means because I'm an idiot.
That's why I was curious, because if we both start off the same without genitalia, what makes us a female?
Yeah. I'm again, like I said, I'm a moron. If I was on Joe Rogan, I mean, he would ask me questions and I'd be like, I'm just repeating things that I'm just trying to be honest. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot, but but if you're smart, you can read this.
You can understand this a little better. I mean, if we read more into it, I'm sure we would.
So the point that I'm trying to make is like, our environment is the theory that we're disrupting this natural process, and in turn, you're getting perhaps more estrogen, and in turn is giving birth to more women.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's... Now, send me an email if you understand this more, please. I would love to read like a better... I mean, because I'm a moron, and this is something that I've heard, but I'm at least trying to be open and honest. That's saying I don't understand this, but I'm trying to communicate that. But I don't know. Once I found that there was actual studies being like on this, I found it fascinating.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
And then I started looking around, and I think I was asking Matt, or he was asking me, who do you know that has a kid? And I would tell them, and then he'd be like, what do they have? And I would say a girl. And then he'd ask me someone else, I'd say a girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 7-1 or something like that.
I almost feel like a few years, like when your siblings first started having kids and stuff, I feel like it was even more so then. I do feel like now I'm starting to see maybe more boys, but I don't know. The girls could still be outweighing.
You might just know more people who have babies now. You might just know more people having kids.
Yeah.
So obviously the odds are gonna grow, but like firstborns are like always girls. Now, obviously you could have a boy out there. You could have 4 boys. You could have no girls.
Well, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I know a lot of girls who have boys. A lot of girls who their firstborn was boys.
And you know what's also really sad? Boys are more susceptible to autism, especially before the age of 2 years old. So there's definitely something going on here where I wish we could not be dumb, close-minded, political assholes, because everything turns political.
Yeah.
When you go down a road, it leads to legislation, which is made by Republicans or Democrats.
Well, I mean, it's the proof is there. It's just a matter of finding it on the internet, right? Our parents didn't know people who had autism.
I know.
The girl to boy ratio was 50-50 back then because they were eating things that were totally different. Their environment was different. You know, maybe it was more green back then. There weren't as many houses. There weren't as many people.
Yes.
So it is what it is.
Yes.
How other else would you be able to explain it?
Well, because that's why, I don't know if you've ever heard, but like when people debate politics and they use statistics can be used either way.
Of course.
When people say,
in
what do you
your
mean?
favor.
So with this shit, you can who knows what it causes? You know, we don't know anything. Like, and then it comes like it becomes personal, where it's like that's why it gets political, because when you follow like Chris Tucker in Rush Hour, follow the rich white man. You know, we follow the rich white man, and you get down to like people who love their trucks and their gas. So like the electric car comes around. And they feel like you're attacking them personally.
Yeah.
You keep those hoity-toity liberal cars. I want my gas, right?
Yeah.
Which is strange to me, because I don't know why. And the powers that be want us to fight over these things, so we don't realize how badly we're getting fucked. So you choose a side. So with this stuff, you ever notice that like when we go back home and we have organic, people in my family would try to act like, oh, Leanne and Eric have organic. They make it seem like
it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing, or it's a pretentious thing.
Yeah.
Like we think we're better because organic's more expensive or whatever. But it's like because we've learned this shit and they just don't know this yet.
Yeah.
It's not that we have been brainwashed. It's just like, oh, you don't know this yet. And I don't know.
I think, yeah, I mean, we're more, like we easily accept information, whereas other people don't, you know. Maybe that's a bad thing, but I don't know. It's like if I hear, oh, this is bad for me, sometimes I won't even do the research. I'll just listen to it because that's what someone told me.
Yeah, well, that's honest. You know? Depending on who tells me it,
well, of course,
I'll take it as gold.
That too. If it's coming from Matt, who we've been talking about, we know he does extensive research when it comes to everything. So I know that I can trust him.
He can go too far, but for the most part, the things that we have tried to do with our diets, I don't know why it ever has to be political, and it gets political. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah,
like that's how weird it is. It's so weird that the masks have become political. It's so weird that diet has become political. There's a liberal diet and a conservative diet. Think of how fucking weird that is.
So weird.
What does this have to do with legislation and House of Representatives? But because the people in charge have a party that they're lobbying for, we, the people, are being affected by it and being torn apart by it, which is pathetic. That's another thing I hope to God we can try to do on this silly little podcast. Is like if you may not realize you're being fucked over by being like brainwashed by people to think like be loyal to me because you're me, and it's like wait a minute, this has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with politics. Why are we making it about politics? Which bothers me so much. You and I got so much shit from people for being California liberals because of the way we either dieted or yoga or something like that. And it's like, these are all incredible things everyone should be doing. But the way that you got introduced to it was this is bad what liberals do, which is so fucking strange.
Yeah. I mean, even to be introduced to it that way, I still think at least it's like, well, if it's gonna make my life better or make my kids' lives better, why wouldn't I just do that? Yeah,
and you and I also aren't stuck in a routine that people. It is scary to have your routine be disrupted. To have like what you got to do every day. You have the same thing. It's like it's easy on your mind. You know what your kids have to be at school at this time. Wake up at this time. So disrupting that is a little intimidating. I can understand that for sure. So people don't want to like. This is something else I have to fucking worry about now. There's something else I totally get that. Leanna and I are lucky enough that we're like, hey, you got to do this. It's like, okay. Like, I have no problem doing any of that or changing things. For a while, I was bad. You're incredible at it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say before. I feel like I couldn't say that, but like, it's very easy for me to change. Oh, French fries are bad for you. McDonald's is bad for you. Okay. That's it. I just don't have to have it ever again.
Yeah, many people aren't like that, babe.
I know. But I think, and like you said too, sometimes it does become a little bit of a chore But for me, it's like, if it's going to make me feel better, if it's going to make me live longer and make my kids come out perfectly fine and healthy, then why wouldn't I do that?
So just to be devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You said make me live longer.
Mm-hmm.
We come from a place, I've even joked about it before, where it's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll die happy. I'll die with chicken parmesan in my lungs or in my stomach, right? Something like that. I don't think people realize the value of quality of life.
Yeah.
Let's say that you die at the same age, but the last 20 years you were going hiking with your grandchildren, whereas you had to fucking use a breathing machine or a cane.
Yeah.
That's where the value comes from, which I didn't really see the whole time either when I was like debating Matt like years ago. But we should definitely, that's another thing like I feel like we discovered in life that I feel like, I don't want to be preachy, but it's like we found this turbo button like in Madden. I have to tell you about it because I think it's made us happier.
Our diet?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't feel as shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't stress this enough, how much I used to be someone who didn't believe the hype. Mm-hmm. I'd be like, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. You hate Kit Kats? You're a fucking liar. You're just saying that because you want to sound cool that you don't like Kit Kats.
Yeah.
Because I know I was bad. Did you want to say something?
You were just a garbage human being. That's all I was going to say.
Oh yeah, I mean, we could put that clip in any of these podcasts, and it'll ring true for you. Because the attitude of these things is so fucking bad. Because we add human ego, and everyone wants to sound like they're cool and knows what they're doing. The way we receive information is by the worst type of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The person who tells you about CrossFit is usually the person that's like, ugh, this person is so cringy.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I do CrossFit. That's great. The gym's great. Anything, but I do CrossFit, and it's like the way he presents it to you, you're like,
you're turned off by it.
I hate CrossFit. Yeah. I don't know anything about CrossFit, but if this is CrossFit,
I don't want it.
I hate CrossFit.
Yeah.
So, paleo, vegan, organic, farm to table, these all come from the same pretentious California person who has this pretentious attitude of like, yeah, well, I do everything farm to table, and oh my God, I can't even have what you have. That's like, I remember eating that. I can't even have it anymore. They never come at you with like the real shit, like, yo, I love McDonald's. I love McDonald's.
A Big Mac with a large fry? Forget about it.
Are you kidding me?
A dream come true.
Bro, are you kidding me? Love it. The problem is I started to feel worse. And I didn't believe it at first either. But don't have fast food for a month and then have fast food. Just tell me how you feel. That's how I would approach it. But it never gets introduced that way.
Yeah.
Everyone who is into a healthy diet comes at you 1,000 miles an hour at level 100 and forgets that you haven't even started the game yet. They act like you should know all the fucking other 1 to 99 you're going to know. Even like...
I wonder if people still eat fast food a lot.
Of course they do. People do. Of course they do.
I mean, of course there are people who do, but I feel like it's so well known now that it's bad for us that I feel like people probably don't get it that often. I actually, growing up, I probably did have fast food. Not a lot, but like at least once a week. My dad would take us once a week and we always got fast food.
Your divorced dad.
My divorced dad. So definitely we had it once a week. And then I'm sure there were nights too where my mom didn't want to cook, so we would have it. Whatever. As I got older, less and less and less. When we moved to California, I feel like we started to eat fast food a lot. Do you agree?
I absolutely agree.
So I feel like from going from that to totally changing our diets when you were finally like, okay, I do want to change my diet. I do want to eat better. We were able to see how big of a difference our quality of life was being affected by having the fast food. Because I'm trying to think, like, we're talking as if people eat fast food all the time, which I don't think people do. But there was a time when we were in California that we were having it a lot because I would work like weird hours, and then by the time I got home, I like didn't want to cook, so we would just grab like Taco Bell or Burger King or In-N-Out. And switching from that to not having it ever, we just felt so much better.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I know exactly what you're trying to say. I want to say a few things. You said a few. I thought of a few things I think are necessary. Not necessary, but the first thing is I was older as a person who moved out from his parents' house for the normal human. I was 28, so like people might think like I'm the biggest fucking loser, but I think the first year or two, the thought of I can eat whatever I want all the time, I think I was just like being a little immature with that. I think that was my fault.
Probably.
Like, oh my God, I can have In-N-Out tonight. I'm getting it again.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think that was a large part of it. And definitely you not wanting to cook. I was the worst. I dragged Leanna down whole, I know for a fact. Because I would be like, first of all, California is the fast food capital of the world. Yeah. They have so many burger chains, so many chicken places, so many like fried food, donuts. They have so much cool shit that I was just obsessed with it. That's number one. Number two, I'm talking about fast food as like a broad spectrum.
Yeah, not just McDonald's, Burger King, but like stuff that you eat at home too.
Correct.
Yeah.
Processed shit that like you don't realize is not the best for you. The third thing is, I think when people hear fast food, they think like what I thought as a kid. Oh, it's bad for me. I know it's bad for me, but I don't care. I have a fast metabolism or this or that. They don't. The bad is being put into two different categories here. Fried food is bad, but if it's a high quality, organic chicken, which has like I don't know, maybe what's like a healthy way? Can you fry anything healthy or is that not? Like healthy is two different things. Healthy is like deep fried or processed with cancer. There's two different things. Like fatty,
and it's also not
cholesterol.
It's also not what's gonna make you gain weight. It's what's going to affect your health.
Yes.
Your actual health, not your physical health, your mental health. Whatever's going on inside you. People think that too. It's like, oh, like you said, I have a fast metabolism. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to gain weight. But it's okay. You might not gain weight, but your anxiety is going to spike through the roof because you're eating these things.
Yes. So for me, what happened was I was that person. And that's why I'm happy I was that person because I can speak from experience. Whereas whenever I looked for help, whenever I looked for information, it was the same YouTuber attitude, or even the people in my life, they would just start flying at me and they would act like they never liked junk food. And it's like, I can't find you relatable. If you're telling me just substitute white bread with Ezekiel bread, it's the same exact thing. I heard that often. You won't even be able to taste the difference. And then I'm like, I'm so discouraged because the difference is so profound. I feel like I'll never be able to eat like this because you're making me feel like it should be a seamless transition and it's night and fucking day. So I'm eating what tastes like sawdust and you're telling me it's the same thing as white bread. All those people had to say was, you're gonna hate it at first. It tastes like shit. Give it 2 weeks. No one ever says that. They just say, oh my God, that's poison. Have this. It's the best bread in the world. Yeah. And I get it because they've been on it for 3 years. They forget how hard it was in the beginning because they feel great. I understand. But you need someone to break it down for you in realistic terms. So we started working out and I threw up during our first session. I literally could not finish working out. And I was like, I got to make some changes, Leanna. So we went to Whole Foods. That's when we started going to Whole Foods, getting everything as the best quality we could. And I started working out better. I started being able to run better. And I was like, holy fuck. And then we randomly got Taco Bell. and I felt bad. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, I sound like one of those fucking hipsters who was like, I can't get Taco Bell. It makes me feel like shit. I don't know how you eat it. And I was like, fuck, damn, like I was wrong. This actually is the truth. But I feel like the way that I explain it is way more understandable. Do you agree?
I agree. You're not like getting someone's hopes up. Like you said, it's like, okay, this is going to be shitty. A chicken chalupa is amazing. It's probably the best thing you're ever going to eat, but it's horrible for you.
Yes. And these people don't say that.
Yeah.
They just call it poison. So you automatically feel judged. You automatically get discouraged. You automatically think, well, if this person doesn't like that taste, how can I relate to them in any way? This is heroin to me. So we started working out pretty hard, and then we went back to Staten Island for Halloween in 2020, last year. I took Stella's, my niece had like a Kit Kat. I took it from her, and I swear to you, this is not bullshit. It tasted processed.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that sounds like I'm trying to sound cool.
I would say that to you, and you'd be like, no, you're full of shit. You're full of shit.
I thought Leanna wanted to sound cool. Like, oh, we get it. You're from California. This is processed. We get it. You're real fucking cool.
Yeah. I was so happy
until you go 6 months without that. And the only chocolate I had was dark organic chocolate from Whole Foods, which sounds pretentious. Sounds like I'm trying to brag. Like, look how together my diet is. No, I fucking hated it. I was not having fun, but I was like dedicated to switching my diet. And when I finally got to the other side and I started to really enjoy the stuff I was having, I literally ate a Kit Kat and I was like, oh my God, it tastes like fake chocolate. I'm being honest. I just want to tell you guys the truth. This is real. I'm not just saying this to sound cool or be like one of the people I fucking couldn't stand. It's true. You just have to be truthful about your journey that got you there. You can't just start with, oh my God, Kit Kats? I can't even, it's so processed, without leaving out the 6-month ride that got me there. And I swear to you, my anxiety plummeted because of this.
I believe that for sure.
When I do have flare-ups of anxiety, I'm able to curb them a lot better. And I really believe it's exercising and diet.
And I mean, it affects everyone differently too. Like, it helped your anxiety, or it affected your anxiety, but it affects me. I break out, right? Like, it affects everyone differently.
Yeah.
In usually bad ways.
Sorry, keep on.
No, that's it.
Insomnia is a very big thing in America. I've never slept better than when I stopped having soda.
Yeah.
And when I stopped having like the shitty food we'd have. We went there was a good time in quarantine for like 6 months where we were like on our shit.
Oh yeah.
We literally were having like the most health.
Good, yeah.
We were working out hard. I've never had
working out too makes you tired.
Of course,
so.
Working out really hard I went like months without having soda. I get bad now because I've been spoiling myself and I'll have like soda sometimes. But
yeah, I mean, we're not perfect by
at
any
all.
means.
Oh
we
my
had
God.
Taco Bell 2 days ago.
Yeah, but it's also important to tell people that.
Yeah.
If you tell yourself you're never gonna have this again for the rest of your life, you're doomed to fail.
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah, I was gonna say too. It's healthy to treat yourself every now and then. I don't know for sure. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I haven't done the research, but I would think that it's probably okay.
And it works for us.
To have it once every now and then, not to completely deprive yourself for the rest of your life.
You're not a doctor, but you have experience that it has worked for you.
Yeah.
You didn't spiral out of control.
No.
Like I had, I went, I think it was almost not 2 years. It was at least a year and a half without McDonald's.
Yeah.
And then we came home.
From
like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, I think I'm gonna get a Big Mac."
Yeah.
And I got it. It was delicious. I'll probably go another year easily without having it.
You felt like crap after.
I think people are gonna think I'm just saying that, but I I also flew when I was, you get dehydrated when you fly.
Yeah.
I had the worst headache I've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I said to Leanna, that was great, but I have a horrific headache now. And the way that I would hear a couple talking like that, I'd roll my eyes. I would think, they want to sound cool because they can't have McDonald's. And I think we need to be honest about that feeling we get.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel that. I think other people feel that, but like they don't want to say it or whatever. But that is a true thing. You know that you think people brag about their diets, right?
Oh, of course.
They love to brag about how healthy they are.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be
No.
honest. And I hadn't had McDonald's in so long, and I felt like shit afterwards. I felt like shit.
Like you said, it was amazing.
It was, in the moment, oh my God, it was so much fun. And I was like, I can't believe I'm eating this. But like we had a long trip, and like I did a lot of shows.
It was so much fun.
It was a treat. We literally we treated it as such, and it was great. But then I went back to, that was a month ago. I hadn't even thought about it. And like you said, it is really important to know you can, in the beginning, especially if you're trying to like change shit, just know you could if you have it a couple times a week, try to just have it once or like every other week.
Yeah.
And then try to do it once a month
Mm-hmm.
and then once every 6 months. And then before you know it, you're not even going to want it.
No, exactly. I did that my whole life. I trained, not my whole life, but later on in life, I did that. I like trained myself because I always wanted, this is when I was like crazy and I wanted to lose weight, but that's what I would do. I would like maybe have like pasta, rice, whatever once. And then eventually I just never even ate it because I like didn't eat it. I didn't miss it. Now, I eat all that stuff.
Well, and you work out, you look great.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think that like, I've been meaning to talk about this for a long time, and we are by no means perfect. I've been fucking up a lot lately.
Again, it's just all stuff that works for us that we found. Maybe other people could take this information and it could be helpful to them. Because I don't want to give myself credit, but if I was listening to this, it would be refreshing to hear someone not go to level 100 off the bat. Like, listen, you want to throw out everything you like, be miserable, because that doesn't fucking help anyone. And like now, I got Dave's Killer Bread, like that. Like, what is that? What it's called? Which even still, unfortunately, with the FDA and all this stuff that we're eating that is approved as organic, is approved as non-GMO, we don't even know if we could totally trust. Yeah. But if it says it on the label, we try. We also aren't that great with like ingredients. Like we don't look at every ingredient.
No, you're getting better with canola oil though, which you're not supposed to have, right?
That's like one of the main ingredients that I know is bad. So I always try to make sure that that's not in anything we buy. But yeah, like Dave's Killer Bread, I don't even know if that's something we can totally recommend because I'm sure Matt could find something wrong with it.
Oh, well, no, I was just trying to. I'm not saying that's perfect. I was just saying like from someone who despised that kind of bread. Mm-hmm. When I get it now, they make bagels, and you make me buns. The most bomb sandwich.
Yeah,
and it's like. That's another thing too, is like, I think people also think that they have to change their lifestyle too much. All you got to do is make the same meals you're making with better ingredients.
Things, yeah.
Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. So like, you know, like we basically made the same meals, just way healthier.
Absolutely. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah. Just organic sweet potatoes instead of sweet potatoes. Just really free range, organic, pasture raised chicken.
Yeah. Bacon, egg, and cheese, but with just better ingredients.
Yeah. And I want people to know that like, this is important, especially if the shit that we always talk about being happier and healthier and stuff like that. We owe it to you to explain that was a large part of it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like definitely, right? Like,
definitely. So make sure you get an organic turkey this year.
Oh man,
I don't know if they have to have organic turkeys, right?
Organic is a.
We're not organic, like.
No, I know organic has been
a pasture-raised turkey.
Organic has been weaponized.
Yeah.
Because the FDA, like you said, they have standards you have to live up to, but like you could technically get away with it and still not have that great of like things. So like it's such a fucking nightmare game. And it's really horrible. It sucks that we should just be able to go to the store and get high quality things. Another thing you said earlier, which I think is important, our parents say to us all the time. My mom or my dad are like, when I was a kid, I had this all the time. I can't have this anymore. What's wrong with it? And I'm like, well,
it was fresher.
Well, mom, well, dad, when you were a little kid in Brooklyn in the 60s, you were getting what I'm paying fucking premium for. You went to the butcher. It was farm to table.
Yeah.
It was the healthiest cow.
Yeah.
It was the healthiest chicken. They were literally what we dream of now.
Yeah.
The amount we pay for chicken is absurd. And that's what you were getting on a day to day. I'm paying more to get what you got. You're not getting that anymore. You're getting a sick chicken who has been pumped with steroids. And that sounds hippie, but that's just like what's going on these days.
Yeah.
You're not getting quality ingredients. You're not getting what you think you were raised on.
That was the standard back then. It's just what it was.
There were no mass. I mean, there was probably giant farms, but they weren't these corporations with, Monsanto and GMOs and, leading to autism and shit like we spoke about. So like, that's a big deal that I want people to know that maybe don't know. And like, again, a lot of people dismiss this shit because they see it as hippie or weird or not what I want to hear. And I don't know why that is, because I don't think any of this will do you any wrong. Same thing with like global warming. I don't get why that's political. I get where it got trickled down from like the people who are making trillions from oil. So they want to make people believe that oil's good. So then you think, oh, I love oil. These people are trying to take that away from me. So it's easy to like take control of those people. But if you realize they don't give a fuck about you, you're just a number and they will kill you if they had the chance.
People only ever care about money.
Of course. They're killing us. They're making us sick. We're working more hours. The wages are going down. And no one really seems to care how badly they're being fucked 24/7. That's what I want people to know.
Sometimes it's just easier that way. It's
easier
easier to
true.
get.
It is true. Ignorance is bliss, but not here on Dress Down Day. We're gonna have those conversations. So, I thought this was interesting.
I thought so.
And maybe people won't, but we'll find out.
I guess that's it. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. What are we doing for Thanksgiving? We're staying here, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. So. Thank God. We've been traveling way too much.
I think we gotta go. We gotta fly out of here right after Thanksgiving anyway. So it's like.
Oh man, you know me, Leanne. I gotta watch my football.
You know what? I'll make you a nice ham. How about that?
I wish you liked ham.
You want a Thanksgiving ham?
I like a nice a who hash.
I've made you a ham before, haven't I?
No, I am.
Never?
I am a ham, but you never.
I think I made you a ham once. You asked me for a Thanksgiving ham.
You hate ham,
so I don't have to eat it. On
Christmas morning, Leanna and I ate baked ziti. On Christmas morning,
that was a nice tradition.
It was incredible.
I think
Christmas breakfast, baked ziti. It was amazing.
I think a lot of people do that, especially Italians. Yeah, they definitely.
It was like 7 a.m.
It was delicious.
It was incredible.
A couple of gifts and baked ziti, forget it.
So for Thanksgiving, maybe we'll get like, I don't know, something fun. We don't have to have, I don't really care about turkey.
Last year, I think we did a rotisserie chicken.
Did we really?
I made the sides.
Right. I think you're right.
I did the candied yams. I think I made a cornbread.
Yeah.
I made like a green bean casserole. And we got a rotisserie chicken. It was delicious.
Who the fuck ate the green bean casserole? Just you?
I did. I made it for myself. Yeah.
Nice. And I had all the yams. And that's why I have all this cholesterol. I don't even know if that makes sense. I don't know.
You have all this cholesterol.
All right, guys. Love you so much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And we'll see you next week.
Maybe we'll play this episode 15 times throughout the year, like Friends does a Thanksgiving throwback 50 million times throughout the whole series.
That was a weird one complaint Leanna had about Friends.
There was so many.
Why is it always Thanksgiving?
It's always Thanksgiving. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Like if it was Christmas, that makes a little more sense. It's the best holiday. Thanksgiving?
I gotta say, I think Thanksgiving is probably just gonna be like eliminated by it, especially because there's like the
Isn't it canceled?
It's gonna get canceled. I mean, there's gonna be it's gonna be politicized. I mean, by now people don't even care about the history. They just want to have off and have fucking food.
Yeah.
They're not even thinking about the history.
No.
But the way marketing works, it goes Halloween right to Christmas. People don't even acknowledge Thanksgiving anymore. They make people work.
We should just throw the whole holiday out at this point.
I'm telling you, when our kids are our age,
you think it'll be gone?
It's gonna be like celebrating Flag Day. Some people will still do it. Some people, but it's gonna be the start of Christmas shopping day. That's really all it's gonna be.
That's kind of what it is already.
It already is. It's probably gonna happen before that.
I will say I am thankful for you.
Aww. Oz. Oh my God, Oz.
I'm thankful for the listeners. I'm thankful for you as like a podcast partner. And I'm thankful
that was hurtful.
For the listeners for tuning in every week and keeping us busy. And listening. And guitar.
All right, folks, we love you so much. I'm so thankful for all of you. I can't thank you enough, really. Having a great time. And if we could be any inspiration or just a nice
something to listen to.
Distraction from your day. Yeah. Love you so much. And we will see you next week. And that's it. Leanna, why don't you end this episode?
Happy Black Friday. Be careful with your Black Friday sharpening.
Your
Black Friday shopping. It gets dangerous out there. No gift is worth
being trampled over. As Bill Burr once said, there's nothing at Walmart that's worth being trampled over.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Until next time.
All right.
What?